Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia, chapter 153. And before we get into anything else, I just want to talk about that final panel. The final panel where Overhaul merges with I think it was Nemoto. Like, oh, Horikoshi, once again, you've done it again, you've done it again, you've fucking done it again. Seriously, it almost, with that final panel of seeing what Overhaul and Nemoto looked merged together, that shit was both badass and just fucking scary. Like, seriously, just the artwork, the visual look, the design, everything of that, of the way Overhaul looked after merging with Nemoto, that just proves that Horikoshi, like, it almost seems like there's no limit to Horikoshi's creativity and design work, honestly, half the time. And just when I think Horikoshi's reached his peak, like, honestly, the man exceeds my expectations again and again. Like, he comes up with something creative. Like, when I think he's reached his creativity, he comes up with something again. It's just incredible. Like, really, like, this is why I love My Hero Academia, for just alone as creativity, and just, like, yeah, Horikoshi, like, man, like, I mean, just look at this shit. Seriously, how can you not? Just seriously, look at. Sorry if the color seems weird, but yeah, just look at that shit. Like, wow, like, man, seriously, Horikoshi, like, wow, man, like, he looks like something out of fucking. He looks like a demon now at this point or something. I don't know, but yeah, I've gotten my fanboy out about that, but. The thing that actually was interesting about Overhaul in this chapter, even before he transformed, honestly, was that it is interesting to note how depraved and how fucking it was interesting to note how depraved and how, like, how Overhaul had basically reached his breaking point in this chapter. Like, he was so fucking determined to, just in order to see that his ideals and his ambitions were saw through to the end, that he's willing to do anything at this point in order to achieve his dream, in order to achieve his goal. And that, I think, just speaks volumes how not just the heroes have the how not only the heroes can have the desire and for drive, but also the villains can too. Although in this case, it's almost like it's almost like in the villain's case, having this drive and determination, it turns you into a monster almost half the time. So yeah, it really isn't. It really is kind of, Overhaul really is a good example of what happens when drive and determination can really turn you into a monster a good chunk of the time. But yeah, also, aside from that, one thing that was interesting about this chapter is that I think, whether they even realized it or not, from the very beginning of this whole, from the very beginning of their whole careers as becoming, or their whole start of becoming, of working towards becoming pro heroes. Uh, so many people had inevitably put their trust into both Izuku and Togata, which is building on the concept, not necessarily who would become that the number one hero, but it's building on the concept of the qualities that are needed to be the number one hero. Again, not necessarily who will have the title, but it, but what is needed to claim the title. And when you really think about it, the fact that both Izuku and Togata have people who inevitably are willing to put their trust in both of them, that inevitably really makes this question, who at this point is ready to be the number one hero. Because I think at this point, the number one, someone who, like, of course, I don't think, we've always assumed that the number one hero is someone who just saves people and does good deeds on an everyday basis. But I truly believe that, honestly, the number one hero is, from the way My Hero Academia has been going, I truly believe that the number one hero isn't necessarily someone who just strictly saves people. I think it's someone who has a desire, who of course has that desire to save people, but it's someone who other people can never put their faith and their trust into, and Izuku, both Izuku and Mirio have both of that in spades. That they have allies, they have friends, they have teachers, that they have all these people who are openly willing to put their faith and trust into these two people. And to me, that just makes them both of them very much equally deserving and worthy of it, of the title of one for all. Now, this is actually something I completely forgot to mention in last week's review, but it looks like the stage is being set for NightEye's prediction to come true. And the prediction was that, I believe the prediction was, from my knowledge, that when the time came and the chips were down, that Izuku would in fact make the difficult decision and give Mirio and pass on the title of World's Greatest Hero and One for All onto Mirio. Now, the thing about it is, we all know Izuku's the main character, and this is his journey towards becoming the number one greatest hero of all. So, in a situation like this, the way I see this whole thing going down, of Izuku, of NightEye's prediction, of NightEye's almost prediction coming true, is that I think NightEye is going to set it up where it's going to set up the whole scenario for Izuku to in order for Izuku to give Mirio his quirk. Like I think he's going to look. I think once the battle's done, he's going to look at Izuku and say, "It's time," or "My prediction came true after all," or something like that. And then Izuku is probably going to willingly almost agree at first, initially agree to in order to give Mirio One for All, because at this point we can of course assume that the Mirio's quirk is gone. Like from what we see, Mirio's quirk isn't coming back. So yeah, it is going to be set up where Izuku is probably going to give Mirio One for All. But then I think Mirio himself is the key here. I think Mirio himself is going to say, in order to forget about it, I think he's going to say, fuck. I think he's going to say to Night, fuck your predictions and fuck everything else. I'm putting my strict faith in Izuku. I think at the end of the day, that is kind of the way it's being set up. I mean, it's one of those things where I think no matter how different, I think My Hero Academia does try and be. I think there are certain cliches that there are certain cliches that are still there, and I think this is going to be one of those cliches. I think where, yeah, Mirio is where at the end of the day, because Izuku is the main character and he does have kind of that plot armor. I think Izuku is going to be that particular scenario where Izuku is initially going to agree to give Mirio his quirk, but then Mirio is going to stop him and say that he puts his utter faith in Izuku, which I'm not going to lie. If that does happen, I really, and you know, the one saving grace of this whole cliche in a way is that it would actually. It would very much put pretty much the whole screws to basically NightEye's whole predictions and whatnot, and I think it would almost like with the whole thing of Mirio, except if Mirio does and go and doesn't accept Izuku as the rightful holder of One for All, then it would put the screws to everything that Night Eye has predicted, and it would force Night Eye to accept that, yes, that in the end, All Might did make the right decision after all. He chose the right person to inherit One for All. Now, granted, we as the readers might not necessarily agree with that, but it forces Night Eye into that predicament where his predictions aren't everything that he claims them to be. So it would be interesting if it would be interesting to see. In the end of the day, we've seen a lot of them from Togata and Izuku up to this point, but it would be interesting to see. I guess Mirio. I guess it would be NightEye's acceptance of all that at the end of the day. That's what I'm hoping to see is NightEye's acceptance of Izuku at the end of the day, and see how his acceptance plays out, kind of thing. But yeah. Also, Toga and Twice are still lurking around in this chapter, and from what I saw of this chapter, it seems like basically you see them kind of skulking around, basically planning to kill Overhaul, but then Twice gives her basically an idea. He whispers an idea into Toga's mind, and Toga says Tamura will be pleased with that. And I imagine from the way it was explained, from the way it was being explained about how the battle between the heroes and the Yakuza is going to weaken everyone, I imagine what they're planning to do is they're planning to kill two birds with one stone. They're going to kill both the Yakuza. They're going to kill both the Yakuza and the heroes and Izuku and everyone. And they're probably going to kill the Yakuza. I just don't know about the heroes. I think that's going to be a flop for them, but they are going to probably kill the Yakuza, which I think alone is going to be enough to make everyone happy. The League of Villains happy, honestly. So there's that. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook. That's Night of Anime. Signing off. Later, guys.